What if, in the blink of an eye, the world we know could vanish? Not with a whimper, but with a blinding flash. The thought of nuclear war feels like a relic of the Cold War dusty textbooks. Black and white footage, duck and cover drills. Yet here we are, decades later, closer to that reality than at almost any point in history. The question isn't just if it could happen, it's where the first fireball would rise. Tonight, we journey through 10 cities that sit uncomfortably at the crossroads of history, politics, and power. Cities whose skylines could one day be silhouetted by a mushroom cloud. This isn't fear-mongering. It's the quiet math of geopolitics and the haunting fragility of human civilization. Moscow, a city draped in red history and iron resolve. The Kremlin's golden domes gleam like watchful eyes, yet beneath them lies the core of Russia's command. In any nuclear exchange, Moscow is both sword and shield target and sanctuary. If Washington ever pressed the unthinkable button, this city of 12 million would be one of the first to vanish, and with it, centuries of empire. Imagine the silence that would follow in Red Square, where once parades thundered. But then, across the ocean, Washington, D.C. itself, marble monuments, the Capitol Dome, the White House, all symbols of democracy, and all glowing dots on an adversary's missile radar. Experts say Washington wouldn't just be a symbolic target, it would be a strategic decapitation strike. A city not just of politics, but of global consequence. And if you've ever walked those streets, you can't help but wonder, how fragile are those monuments, really, against the roar of fire? Yet the shadow doesn't just fall on capitals. Think of New York City, Times Square's neon lights, Wall Street's heartbeat, the Statue of Liberty holding her torch against the night. For America's rivals, New York isn't just a city. It's a stage the face of American culture, finance, and global reach. A strike here would be less about military utility and more about psychological shock. The kind of blow that would echo in every television screen, every newspaper headline, every frightened whisper around the world. Half a world away, Beijing stands as another bullseye. A city ancient and modern, where the Forbidden City's tiled roofs meet glass towers and superhighways. Here lives not just the leadership of the Chinese Communist Party, but the nerve center of a rising superpower. Beijing embodies China's ambitions and anxieties. And should tensions flare beyond repair, this sprawling capital would be one of the first names written on the nuclear ledger. And what of Pyongyang? An outlier, and yet central to the nuclear conversation. To some, it seems almost untouchable North Korea's isolation, a shield of obscurity. But to strategists, Pyongyang is both instigator and target. A strike against it could be preemptive, to silence a regime threatening with warheads of its own, or retaliatory should its missiles cross a terrible line. Either way, it reminds us, no city, however closed, is immune. Then there is London. The Thames winds calmly beneath its bridges. But make no mistake, London is NATO's beating heart after Washington. Its history of empire, its status as financial hub, its nuclear arsenal, all paint a target on its skyline. In the chessboard of global war, London is queen and pawn at once, beautiful and vulnerable. Paris, too, lives in the crosshairs. The city of light, where lovers stroll under the glow of the Eiffel Tower, is also home to nuclear submarines, air bases, and a voice that speaks loudly in European defense. To destroy Paris would be to cut into the soul of Europe itself. Imagine the Seine flowing silently under bridges of ash. But not all likely targets are in the West. Tel Aviv young, electric, defiant, Israel's unofficial capital of innovation and power, standing under a constant umbrella of threat. For decades, the Middle East has been a tinderbox, and Tel Aviv, with its nuclear ambiguity and strategic weight, is both symbol and target. One spark here could redraw the entire region in fire. Then, New Delhi, a city of contradictions, ancient temples beside skyscrapers, rickshaws weaving past parliament. India holds not only one of the world's largest populations, but nuclear weapons aimed across a tense border with Pakistan. To strike New Delhi would not just devastate a nation of 1 billion, it would ignite a South Asian powder keg, the kind the world has long feared. Finally, Islamabad, Pakistan's capital, a quieter city compared to Delhi's roar, but one of immense danger. The command centers of Pakistan's nuclear forces sit within reach here, and in a conflict spiraling out of control, Islamabad would not just be a target, it could be the fuse. 10 cities, 10 names whispered in war rooms, simulated on supercomputers, etched on classified maps, each chosen not by chance, but by strategy, capitals of power, symbols of culture, centers of command. But here's the twist, the haunting truth. In every war game, every Pentagon briefing, every Kremlin model, once the first city burns, the rest follow. Nuclear war is not precision. It's chain reaction. One strike trigger another, then another, until the world itself is the battlefield. No city is safe. No skyline is sacred. And so, maybe the real story isn't about which city will be nuked first, but how close we are to choosing that path at all. The nuclear age was built on deterrence, on the chilling logic that no one dares to strike first because it would mean striking last. But deterrence is a fragile promise. It depends on rational minds, calm hands, perfect communication. And history has never been perfect. So as you lie awake tonight, ask yourself, what does it mean to live in a world where a single decision made in a hidden room by unseen leaders could erase an entire city in less than an hour? And how do we carry on, knowing that possibility hovers like an invisible shadow above our daily lives? Maybe the answer isn't in the maps, or the missiles, or the grim calculations of power. Maybe it's in the quiet hope that we remember what's at stake, that the laughter of children in playgrounds, the hum of traffic at dusk, the lights flickering on across a skyline at night, these are the things that matter. These are the things we stand to lose. The first city may never fall, or it may fall tomorrow. But if it does, it won't just be bricks and steel that disappear. It will be proof that humanity couldn't outgrow its oldest fear. And that, perhaps, is the greatest tragedy of all. If you like this kind of video, and if you have this kind of GenZ thought in your mind, then like this video and subscribe our channel. If you want to know more new things like this, or want to share your opinion, let me know by commenting. Thank you.